Apple hasn't said a single public word about the iPhone 18 Pro Max, and somehow that silence is doing nothing to slow the avalanche of leaks. While Cupertino stays locked down, the supply chain is talking. Production milestones are popping up in reports. And Bloomberg's Mark Gurman has been dropping new details at a pace that makes this feel less like speculation and more like a countdown. And here's the wild part. We're still roughly 6 months out from the expected launch window, and the iPhone 18 Pro Max is already shaping up to be one of the most thoroughly leaked iPhones in Apple history. So in this script, we're breaking down everything that's being rumored right now: the iPhone 18 Pro Max release date, the staggered launch strategy, the expected price, the A20 Pro chip with 2nm tech, a massive 5,200 mAh battery leak, the camera upgrade that could be Pro Max exclusive, and what's really happening with the dynamic island and new colors. Let's get into it. iPhone 18 Pro Max release date, the September 2026 window, and why Apple's launch strategy matters. According to multiple reports, Apple has already moved the iPhone 18 Pro Max into production validation testing, or PVT. And if you know Apple's pipeline, that's a big signal. The hardware is far enough along that Apple and its partners are validating whether the design can be manufactured reliably at scale. In other words, if these reports are accurate, Apple isn't just planning the iPhone 18 Pro Max, it's actively preparing to build it in serious volume. That lines up perfectly with what most insiders expect: a September 2026 iPhone launch, likely tied to Apple's traditional fall event in the first or second week of September. Pre-orders would typically open within days after the keynote, with shipping and store availability shortly after. But the real story isn't just when it launches, it's how the lineup launches. Leaks suggest Apple could be shifting into a staggered release strategy. Fall, Arling Arlu, iPhone Sherba Pro, iPhone Sherba Pro Max, and a first-ever foldable iPhone spring 2027, the more affordable models like iPhone 18 and iPhone 18 EIF. That happens. It changes the buying decision completely. Because in fall 2026, if you want the newest iPhone, you may have only premium options, meaning you're paying pro-level pricing to get in the door. And that is a deliberate strategy move. Apple potentially pushing the fall season into a high-end iPhone moment, while keeping the mainstream models for spring. iPhone 18 Pro Max price expected to start at $1,199. But the foldable could change everything now. Let's talk pricing, because this is where Apple can quietly reshape the entire market. Analyst Ming-Chi Kuo reportedly expects Apple to keep starting prices flat, meaning the iPhone 18 Pro Max price could start at around $1,199, matching the prior generation's Pro Max entry point. But even if the base price stays flat, there are two big price pressure areas to watch: higher storage tiers, the foldable iPhone entering the lineup, because if Apple launches a foldable iPhone with a rumored starting price of $1,999 or more, that instantly reframes what expensive looks like in Apple's lineup. Suddenly, the iPhone 18 Pro Max doesn't feel like the ultra-pricey top option anymore. It starts to look like the reasonable flagship, a middle ground between the Pro models and a brand new ultra-premium foldable category. So even if Apple doesn't change the iPhone 18 Pro Max price, the perception of value could change dramatically. A 20 Pro chip, the 2nm upgrade that could redefine iPhone performance and efficiency. The center of the iPhone 18 Pro Max leaks is the A20 Pro chip. Multiple reports claim Apple's next Pro chip could be built on TSMC's 2nm process, which is a huge deal if it happens. This isn't just slightly faster. A node shrink can affect almost everything you feel day to day. Better power efficiency, lower heat under sustained load, improved gaming performance, faster AI and device machine learning, smoother multitasking under pressure in 2026. The AI angle matters more than ever. Apple's entire direction is pushing harder into device intelligence features that run locally, respond faster, and keep more data private. A more efficient, more powerful chip makes that strategy more realistic at scale. So if the iPhone 18 Pro Max really ships with the A20 Pro on 2nm, expect two things. Apple will market it as a massive leap in capillary world, battery life could improve even if the phone does more, which brings us to the most attention-grabbing leak of all, 200 mAh. Battery leak, the biggest battery ever in an iPhone. If the rumors are accurate, the iPhone 18 Pro Max could ship with a 5,200 mAh battery. That would be a record, the largest battery capacity ever rumored for an iPhone. And it tracks with what users have been asking for year after year. Less anxiety, more endurance. And real all day that doesn't collapse the moment you use the camera, hotspot, navigation, or gaming. The leak suggests Apple may enable this larger battery by slightly increasing the chassis size. Reported dimensions: 0.2, thickness, around 8.8 millimeters, slightly thicker than before, weight, possibly above 240 grams. So yes, if this is true, the iPhone 18 Pro Max might feel heavier, but Apple may be betting that most buyers will gladly accept a few extra grams in exchange for the kind of battery life that changes behavior. Because when battery is truly strong, you stop managing your phone like a fragile resource. You use it freely, and paired with a 2nm A20 Pro and rumored iOS level optimization, the iPhone 18 Pro Max could be positioned as the ultimate endurance iPhone built for heavy users, creators, travelers, and people who live on their device. Variable aperture camera, the Pro Max exclusive upgrade that could actually matter now. Let's talk cameras, because this is where Apple may be preparing a Pro Max only advantage that's more than just better zoom or slightly improved processing. Leaks claim the iPhone 18 Pro Max could include a 48MP main camera with variable aperture. That means the lens could physically or mechanically adjust its opening, depending on the scene, in more or less light dynamically. If Apple pulls this off well, it could improve low-light performance without over-brightening or smearing detailed the field. Control for more natural portrait, separation sharper images in mixed light, consistent exposure and challenging scenes. In simple terms, it can make the iPhone camera feel less like it's forcing a look and more like it's adapting like a traditional camera. And one of the biggest rumors here is exclusivity. This variable aperture feature is being positioned as Pro Max only, not even shared with the smaller iPhone 18 Pro. If Apple wants to push buyers toward the larger model, this is exactly how they do it. A feature you can't get unless you go Pro Max. Apple and Samsung camera sensor talk. A supply chain shift that would be massive. One of the more surprising leaks claims Apple may be working with Samsung on new camera sensor technology, possibly tied to a facility in Austin, Texas. If that happens, it would be a major shift, because for years, Sony has been deeply tied to iPhone camera sensor supply. Now, to be clear, sensor brand alone doesn't decide camera quality. Apple's computational photography pipeline is a huge part of what makes iPhone photos look like iPhone photos. But supply chain changes can influence sensor characteristics spatially, camera roadmap flexibility. So if this rumor has any truth to it, it could signal Apple is preparing for a bigger camera evolution over multiple generations, not just one upgrade. iPhone 18 Pro Max colors: burgundy, coffee, purple, and possibly no black. On the design side, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman has reportedly mentioned Apple testing a deep red finish described as rich burgundy for the iPhone 18 Pro line. Other rumored colors include coffee purple and the headline grabber. Reports suggest there may be no black option in the new Pro lineup. If Apple actually drops black, that's a bold move. Black has traditionally been the safest Pro buyer choice. Removing it could mean Apple is trying to make the 2026 Pro line feel more fashion-forward and more distinct, especially in a year when a foldable iPhone could steal all the attention.